Welcome back. I thought I'd do a little update video on the kiln. This is part 6. I've done some modifications to it since you've last seen. I ended up not needing to insulate the outside of it. The temp is getting up a lot better. It's still cold. It's cold in here in the shop. It's probably around 48 degrees or so inside the shop, but it's actually doing really good. It's 116 degrees on the dry and 105 on the wet. But what you might be asking is like, what's inside? Well, there's 800 board feet of white pine 1-inch boards inside. They are fresh and green. They hit the ground about I guess about 16 days ago. They air dried for a week, so decided to just go ahead and send them through. I know Niall says 300 feet is max for efficiency and everything, but I thought I'd try it, and it seems to be working. So check this out. So here's a little catch container. Right there is my tube off of the drain. That is pure pine water. And those are some measurements I did with this 1 gallon jug. I poured out water, made a mark, or poured out a gallon, made a mark, gallon, made a mark, blah blah blah. Anyways, it looks to me like it's around, I stopped at the 10, but it looks like it's 15 gallons. And yeah, it's been pulling out somewhere between, at the beginning was like 2, 8, 10, 15, 15, and 15 gallons in 24-hour period increments. So it's pulling out a serious amount of water out of these lumber. So yeah, I'm going to show you how I get rid of this. I'm going to open the kiln and check the moisture content. These pieces have actually only been in here, let's see, today is Monday. Wednesday will be 1 week, so it's pretty impressive. We'll see how they're doing. I also thought I would add onto this, I just showed you that it's 116 degrees, 105.8 on the dry and wet. Here's a neat thing. The compressor is the only thing on. The heat is off. There's no heat at all being added to it. The only heat is from the compressor actually inside in the fans. Just the heat off the fans is, I cut it off at 102 degrees, which the Niall manual, the Woodmizer manual, says to cut it off at 100 degrees on the dry bulb, and it'll bring up the temperature even more on its own, just from the workings in there. So I'm saving a little bit of electricity by not having that on. So it's picked up over 14 degrees just with the compressor and fan heat. Very neat. Chop back the bucket. That's all it'll fit in the shop bag. Well, I'm going to do a quick little rundown of some of the modifications since the last time. I have added this foam piece. It's just a round piece of foam. It's folded out and screwed to create a better seal on the door. which actually worked out really good. The second modification is this $6 quilt. I don't even know what size it is, probably full size I suppose. From the Goodwill, $6. It's just kind of shoved there against the bottom of the door with his pieces kind of holding it. That's sealing off some air. Some duct tape. The duct tape don't stick to chipboard for crap, but hey, it's keeping air in. I have cut off the vents. Hopefully you can see that. I'll probably add those in. I'll have to add those in actually when it gets warmer weather, so it takes the temp down to a usable temperature during the drying process. Now here's the other vent, and same deal, just used a piece of foam and taped it off. You know, just screwed it on there, no big deal. And also in the floor I put 2-inch, this same foam. I made a frame inside the floor. I may show you in a future video what I've done with there. It's just 2x4 frame with 2 tracks, and I built a new cart. That big metal cart was too high. It was 14 inches high, 14 inches high, and I was losing some board footage area inside the kiln, so I made some out of Douglas fir 6x6s from Lowe's. That's the only thing they had kiln dried. It was 8 feet long. I machined my own wheels, 4.5-inch diameter solid steel wheels, and the brackets that hold those wheels into them, and they actually go up in the timber. So the actual overall height of the cart now is somewhere about 6.5 inches. It's pretty cool. So it's way lower profile, a lot lighter. I can move the cart around by hand, pick it up by hand and move it, whatever. But it works really good. So I don't really need those other carts. So I have 3 big carts that I don't know what I'm going to do with, but we'll figure out something. Edit 4x4, not 6x6 posts. All right, we're going inside. I shut the unit off for a second. Here to kind of show. She cooking. These top boards, they kind of bow a little bit, but they are for my son's projects. So he needs short pieces anyway, so nice load of pine, and I ain't having no progress in putting my baffles in. I get too much in a hurry, I suppose. Let's see what the old moisture content says. 23% in 5 days. Sorry, probably clogging up there. That's not bad. Shoot, I'd say another 10 days and we'd be pretty good. I also forgot to show you while I was inside. As the front, this I'm considering is the front because it circulates around, and the rear where the unit is. Not this is the front, but this side is the front. I had the dry bulb and wet bulb, or wet bulb and dry bulb, on the back wall with the baffles. Once I put my tarp across the stack, I wouldn't be able to reach the wet bulb to add any water to it or change the wick out, cut some off and extend it if needed. So on the inside, about 3 feet down on this wall is where it resides, and it resides about this high, somewhere around 4 feet high, 5 feet. Well, not even sure. I didn't even throw a tape, but they're right beside each other now on the left hand side, so I can get to those, have access to them, which actually it says in the manual too that they need to be. Other than showing you guys the floor, where I insulated the floor with the 2x4s as the framing and the 2-inch thick styrofoam insulation on the floor, that's really only modifications I've done since the last time, and covering off the vents and the seal around the door and the Goodwill quilt. Anyways, all that has made me see around 120 degrees on a couple smaller loads. I dried some stickers out. They've done really well. They was green, and we took them down to like in the 15% range and it was like 200 feet of them. It wasn't a whole lot, but it was just a nice pallet size stack of them in like 3 days. That's very impressive. 15% from what I do is pretty good on the stickers. I wouldn't mind taking them lower, but we kind of needed the stickers, so I had to bring them out, forced to hand. Anyways, here's a nice stack of 1,000 feet of white pine that's may or may not be going in next. I'm not sure. Actually, I'm probably going to be cutting some round cookies slices for wedding pieces, because it's that time of year where everybody is getting married and they love the cookies. So I'm going to do an experiment. I think it's going to work. I'm going to take some fresh cut pine, cut them into cookies, probably 1.25 inches thick, pallet them up green as they can be. I mean, these trees, it probably wouldn't be 2 or 3 days since they've hit the ground, and pallet them up, sticker them up, strap them up, and put them in the kiln to see how they do. I'm hoping for like a 50 to 60% yield out of them. We'll see. So stay tuned for that next video coming up, or the next one or two. It's going to be in one of those, but I am going to do it. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and like and subscribe.